What's your favorite home cooked food?
My favorite home cooked food? How
about childhood memory of?
I feel like you're throwing that on me. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think my favorite one at your house was the synagogue, I think.
Oh, at my house? Are we asking about your house or
no,
my
your
house?
Your house.
Oh. Lumpia, when it was home cooked. That's probably my favorite.
Lumpia is so good.
Yeah.
Lumpia is like how would you describe it? Like fried?
It's like a Filipino egg
sticker?
roll.
Egg roll, yeah.
No, it's an egg roll. There's usually pork in it, carrots, celery. I think it's celery.
And they're like a more
egg.
Flat.
It's round. It's like cylindrical.
Flat. It's like like a pie. Wait, maybe that's not a thing in US. Like I was thinking McDonald has like a flat pie, but maybe that's actually only in Japan.
Flat pie. There is an apple pie in the US too.
Is it the fried one?
Yeah, it's a fried one too.
It's kind of like that shape, but it's like a saltier.
But like it's kind of smaller. Yeah, it's savory. So, so good. Homemade is like especially good.
Yeah, today we're gonna talk about some of the homemade food, talking about what I used to grow up eating and then what you used to eat, and also how that have influenced what we cook at home today as together. And my name is Elisha. I represent the matcha side of the relationship or the role on this podcast. I am half Japanese, half Korean. Grew up in Japan until I was 13 years old, and then I migrated to US, and I've been here ever since. And Leah.
I'm Leah. I love ube. That's why I'm an ube lover. Ube is a purple yam, grows in the Philippines, and a lot of Filipino desserts, and I am Filipino American, so that is something that I ate a lot and loved ever since I was a kid.
So when you were a kid, what did your parents or grandparents used to cook
for
at home? For let's go through breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I think we should probably go through the meals of the day. Yeah.
Let's start with the breakfast first.
Yeah.
Your turn first.
Yeah, on school days, I would eat Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
Eggos.
Eggos
or
is
chocolate
what's
waffles.
Eggos again?
So Eggos are frozen waffles. They're already prepared.
Waffle,
Yes. And there are different flavors of them. You could get like chocolate chip ones, and those ones are really delicious. But yes, I had a lot of prepackaged foods on weekdays. Both of my parents worked, so they didn't really have time to cook. And I would get up early, so usually there wasn't that much time to make breakfast. I would eat cereal a lot too. On weekends, though, I would have an actual legit breakfast. My grandma lived with us growing up, Grandma Lola in Tagalog, and she would make, or my mom or my grandma would make eggs, Spam. We would have it with rice, oftentimes garlic rice, which is really good. And one of my favorite breakfasts actually as a kid was eggs scrambled with onions. My grandma would make that a lot, and that was my favorite. Whenever she made that, I would eat it. I think I actually ate it a lot of times with bread, but sometimes I would kind of go back and forth and eat it with rice, like garlic rice. I would eat garlic rice and bread with the
it's very flexible
egg and onions. Yeah, it was like a very versatile breakfast item.
Would you put like any sauce on it, like ketchup or?
Sometimes I would put ketchup on it. I would put banana ketchup on it.
Yep. That's a Filipino thing that I didn't know until I went to your house.
Mm-hmm. It is literally ketchup that has banana in it. And it is sweeter, so it makes the ketchup sweeter. And you can put it on different things. You can even put it on lumpia if you want. So yeah, sometimes I would have the ketchup. Sometimes I would just have it as is. Because, I just preferred something simple some days. So that was my breakfast.
I think it's interesting because I don't think there was a difference for me whether it's a weekday or weekend. It was all very similar. And I know that my mom used to cook for me when I was little, but I actually don't have much memories of it.
You don't remember what she cooked for you?
No, not really. I think she must have cooked me a lot of Korean food with the kimchi or the like a Korean pancake, which is like salty, a savory version of a pancake, not like the
yeah.
fluffy maple syrup pancake, but it's like
Yeah.
basically vegetables and the flour mixed in and just fry it. And we call it
Mm-hmm.
pancake in Korea.
Oh, I see.
I remember eating those type of food. And oh yeah, now my memory is coming back where she may have made some like the pork blood, like
It's like a
sausage
sausage.
thing, or the river meat.
Oh, liver.
River
Oh, liver meat.
liver meat. Yeah, yeah. And I
For
think
breakfast?
I remember, like I just have a faint memory of that. But my grandma would cook me a very traditional Japanese food
In Japan.
in Japan, and by that you usually have rice bowl, and you have a miso soup, and then you would have additional things like cooked fish, like a grilled fish, or you could have a bunch of vegetable, like a little vegetable thing, and a lot of them are pickled vegetables. And maybe not so much a salad. I think that's more like a Western way of eating, like a huge lettuce and with the tomatoes and all that stuff. It's not like that. It's more like a potato salad, which is made with the potato cooked with like a corn and like egg, boiled egg and things like that.
You ate that for breakfast too?
I think so, yeah. I think I ate different kinds of food that was just laid on the table.
Like in little dishes.
Little dishes.
Yeah.
Maybe similar to banchan in Korean, where if you go to a Korean restaurant, like sometimes you get those little plates along with your entree. And it's almost like expected that you serve those things. It's somewhat similar in that idea that Japan also encourage eating so many different type of food.
Little dishes.
Yeah, little dishes. And in previous episode, I think I already talked about the lunch at school.
Oh, right.
Is also like that, where every single day it's a different thing, and they would at least have like maybe 5 different dishes.
Yeah.
And even within those 5 dishes, it will be like multiple ingredients in each one of those.
Yeah.
Where the idea is that you're supposed to be eating so many different kind of little things, not like one type of ingredient at a bulk amount. It's smaller pieces of different things.
Did you ever eat like Western breakfast, like toast or eggs or yogurt in Japan?
I think we may have had toast when my mom would cook. I remember, yeah, she would put like a butter and jam on it. I think she's more the the younger generation, right? Whereas my grandma is just like traditional cook. So I guess my lunch, going into the lunch section, my lunch is all controlled by school. It's all good lunch food. And if you want to see what it looks like, I think a lot of YouTube have introduced like, this is what you eat in Japanese school lunches, completely different from the US. And for lunch, what did you eat growing up?
Oh, I mean, if it was a school day, I think as a kid, I did eat Filipino food when my parents still packed my lunch.
Like a bento box?
Yeah, similar. I would eat rice with adobo. That's like one dish I remember eating.
That's good lunch.
Yeah, I do remember that when I was a kid in first grade, I remember being the only kid left in the lunchroom because I didn't like finish my meal. And like, I don't know why I didn't finish it. Like, I don't know if I didn't feel like it or I wasn't hungry. My stomach was, I think, kind of like finicky as a kid sometimes, or skittish. So that was weird. But I did eat Filipino food, I remember, for lunch as a kid.
So your parents would pack like what, leftover from like previous day? Yeah,
it would be leftovers. So it's something I still eat a lot of. I still eat a lot of leftovers. I think leftovers are good. But yeah, I mean, it's more economical, right? You don't have to cook a brand new dish. The food is still good from the previous day. So just eat it for lunch the next day, right? So yeah, that's what I would eat a lot of. I feel like I was pretty bad though in junior high and high school about eating lunch. I feel like I wouldn't eat lunch a lot of times. I feel like I would just drink liquids or something. Because I really don't remember my lunches very much in junior high and high school. I remember even sharing some of my lunches with friends. Like they would share their lunch with me because they would actually buy lunch. And I didn't get lunch money. So if I wanted to eat something, I would have to bring it from home, but I didn't. So sometimes I remember like sharing my friend's lunch. Like I had a friend who had like mashed potatoes and like gravy for lunch and a salad. And sometimes she would share that with me because I was like, oh, eat a little bit, right? So, because I was just like a scavenger, just to eat other people's lunches.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I ate part of your lunch too.
Yeah, you ate the lunch that my mom prepared.
Yeah, because your
in high
mom used
school.
to make you kimbap, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a Korean, like it's almost like a sushi roll, but it's like it's not cut. It's just a long roll with seaweed and like different pickled vegetables. I don't remember what like meat she put in it.
I think mostly beef is what
Okay, she put beef in it. And then, yeah, and I remember like you wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
So then I would eat it.
Yeah, which is funny because, yeah, I'm also not a big lunch eater. Or maybe she packed too much. Or that
Maybe she just packed it every day and so you got kind of tired of it. Maybe.
Also, depending on the season, the food will get spoiled by the time the lunch comes, right? And in Japan, in the bento cooking, there is a lot of technique to prevent that from happening.
Spoilage.
Spoilage, right? And in Japanese bento cooking, there's also art of food that tastes good even when it's cold.
Oh, like they would prepare on purpose food
Yeah.
that tastes good even if you don't have to heat it up.
Right. So if you just put any regular food, it would either not taste good because it's cold, or that it gets spoiled, especially during the hot season. Even though you're in the school with the, I don't remember if we had a good AC or not, but food would even go bad after like 4 or 5 hours because school starts early, right? So the bento had to be packed ahead of time,
Yeah.
and by the time lunch comes, it's already like 5 hours just sitting in the room temperature, which I would even be concerned if I cook something at home and leave it for 5 hours. I'll be like, oh yeah,
You're like, I'm
that
not
would
sure
get
about
spoiled.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't kimbap's meant to be eaten later on?
Yeah, I think kimbap is one of the good ones that can be eaten later on. But yeah, she would cook other things that, wouldn't last well. And of course, she wouldn't know because she wouldn't. I would only know that would happen. And I don't necessarily, I guess, tell my mom.
Yeah, okay, there's a lack of communication there.
Yeah.
You just don't need it. Yeah, this tells you how long we've known each other too since high school.
It's really common in Japan that the boys would not communicate, and then the mom would look at the bento box and like, hey, why didn't you eat this, or why didn't you finish it? Or they will say they finished it when they would just throw it away in school. That's like common stories that you hear. So yeah, that's probably, and then I think I did try some American cafeteria lunches, but again, like last time I mentioned, you only get pizza and burger and some like sad salad options. So like, yeah, I would just stop eating lunch.
Wow, we got tired of it too.
What about for weekends?
During
outside
lunch?
of school? Yeah.
I would eat a lot of Filipino food, like sinigang, which is like a fish stew, homa, which is like beef and shiitake mushroom, or it's like a cow. It's a beef shiitake mushroom, bone marrow, and then
Soup, yeah.
nilaga, which is another like beef soup. It's like a clear beef soup with potato, asparagus, carrots.
Like oxtail?
Yeah, there's oxtail in it too, and sometimes pinakbet, which is like a shrimp paste, and then they cook different vegetables in it.
That's my favorite one.
I think that's probably your favorite Filipino dish.
Pinakbet, yeah.
Has okra in it, squash, but like a butternut squash. No, actually kabocha, that's what's in it. And then green beans and pork. So I actually ate a lot of Filipino food. I feel like I didn't appreciate it as much though when I was younger. And I also think I got kind of, again, tired of the selection of foods. Like if every week you would make nilaga, right? Like every Tuesday, then I'm like, okay, I kind of want to eat something else different
I want to
on
eat
a
the burger
Tuesday.
instead or something.
So, I mean, I appreciate it now, and I miss a lot of Filipino food now because I don't make it, and I'm not near my parents or my grandma. My grandma doesn't cook anymore. But I would eat a lot of that, but I would also eat a lot of prepackaged frozen food too, like frozen like pastas and pizzas that we would heat up, and things that you consider like quote unquote maybe junk food for my meals.
Good,
and I mean,
tasting junk food, right?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it now, my breakfasts were pretty sweet, I feel like, during school
Yeah.
days. Like, I was pretty much just eating dessert. And these days, like, if I were to have a kid or try to teach a child to eat, I don't think I would just have them eat Pop-Tarts or just sugary cereals or chocolate Belgian waffles for breakfast. Probably not the healthiest thing for them. And I think, like, it's fine to have those things sparingly, like, not have them all the time and treat them as dessert, like what they most likely actually are, dessert, and just have them as treats. So yeah, it was kind of a mixed, I don't know, my meals are very mixed. I feel like I had like really random American meals, but then I would also eat Filipino food. Basically, if I had no choice, then I would just eat Filipino food too sometimes. But there was Filipino food that I really liked a lot, and it was a treat when my grandma would make them.
Yeah, I even miss your grandma's cooking
Yeah.
because surprisingly, the flavor profiles of Filipino home cooked food or meal is pretty similar to Japanese home cooked. It's a different recipe, right? And maybe we don't use some of the like a flavoring, like a sauce, like a banana ketchup and stuff, right? But the underlining like, flavoring of building the flavor with the shrimp, right?
Yeah.
Like crushing the shrimp head or use of okra or fish. All these things are very similar. And when I ate your grandma's food, it felt like maybe not like eating like a Japanese food, but it's like all familiar to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And
like you've had those flavors before. They're like very nostalgic, maybe.
Yeah, and not maybe putting, not maybe flavor with the same thing because Japanese food we put a lot of soy sauce or the fish based sauce, but so it doesn't taste like those Japanese like udon soups or ramen, but it tastes like different versions of Asian food,
right?
That tasted really good and. Because it's homemade, it tasted really good and fresh.
Right.
And I really miss those food that we don't get to eat anymore. But maybe one of us will recreate.
One of us. I wonder who.
One of us. The one who should have inherited cooking more. But
maybe you should learn how to cook from your grandma.
The grandma food. She cooked a lot of like grilled fish that I never even attempted to cook. She would buy those little fish and slice them.
She would actually like clean them and everything. My grandma did that too when she was making like tilapia or like different fish, like snapper fish. Like actually descale it and like wash it and cut it. And I'm like, I can't even look at it. It's so bloody on the cutting board. Like
our generations are like, oh, I don't want messy cooking. I just want to buy nice filet from the grocery.
But then I feel like we miss out on a lot of the flavor too, right? Because we just get the clean cut. It's already prepared. In a way, they kind of already take away all the delicious parts of it because we didn't prepare it ourselves. We just have someone else prepare it. They don't give us those extra, the offals, the parts that are not nice to look at maybe, but actually taste really good.
Yeah, because you would put like a fish, like a tail to build the flavor. Like you might not eat it, but you still put that in soup to build a flavor, and then you might discard it. All that good parts close to the bone are gone. I realized the other day when I went to shop for seafood, I went to the nearby HEB, the seafood area, to see what selections they have. We went to the fancier version of HEB called Central Market in Austin to check their fish selection. And I went to H Mart or 99 Ranch. And the difference is that those Asian market actually sell the whole fish.
Oh, without having it descaled or taking out the eyeballs
They might have descaled. They might have done some convenience thing, but like you would see the full fish just lined up on top of the ice. Whereas in the U.S. grocery, it's all like nicely like processed because I guess we don't want to see what it looked like originally, right?
Yeah, it makes some people queasy. Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah. want to disassociate maybe from what they're eating. 'Cause
Yeah.
it kind of grosses some people out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like eating fish head, and fish head is good building flavor, umami flavoring
Yeah.
for the soup, right? Because you want to use that in soup, and then it will extract all the nice juice out of the head. But you don't have that. You don't get that. So all the American cooking recipe that you might eat at home or at restaurants are like, oh, just put the whole fillet in the batter and then just fry it, right? That's the only way to eat it. You don't really see recipe of like build a fish soup out of this whole fish. So
Yeah.
but yeah, going back to the lunch, I miss those things. For the dinner, do you eat different things for dinner, or do you eat pretty much same thing? That
I actually ate a lot of the same things like growing up. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's typical of Filipino families. It might not be. They might make something else different. I mean, I think now that I'm older, I think it's actually healthier to eat something different for lunch and dinner so you get just different nutrients and vitamins, right? But I think for convenience sake, I usually ate the same thing. But yeah, we would like snack in between. So sometimes I would eat like pizza and stuff like as a snack.
Costco pizza?
No, like frozen pizza. Sometimes,
frozen pizza.
sometimes Costco pizza. Every Sunday, my parents would go to Costco too. So we did actually eat a lot of Costco pizza. That is something that we did eat.
And Jollibee, right?
Yeah, and so when there was finally a Jollibee in Seattle, a few miles away, we did eat a lot of Jollibee. My parents would always bring back Jollibee. The chicken sandwiches, those are good. And I do like the sweet spaghetti at Jollibee. So I do like Jollibee, but I would not make it a regular part of my diet. Not like the healthiest thing. But I mean, fast food is definitely something I ate a lot of too as a kid. It was either dim sum or fast food when it was like
Dim sum.
when we were eating out as a kid, which is such a funny like juxtaposition. Here's Chinese food, like actual dim sum. Like we would go to a dim sum place where they would have a cart going around. The servers would offer you different dishes. So we went to legit dim sum places on Sundays, but we would also sometimes go to Wendy's or go to fast food places. And I think because, you know, we're a family of, there was like 6 or 7 of us because my grandparents lived with us and my brother and sister. There's a lot of us. So I think it was more economical for my parents to go to fast food or dim sum, because dim sum, you can also get a lot of food and it's not as expensive too. And you get really full because the dishes can be very filling.
It's a clever way to serve. Is it because dim sums were available in, let's say, International District in Seattle, the reason why your parents go? Or is it something the Filipino family would normally do?
It's both, because in the Philippines, they have a lot of Chinese restaurants too. And there are a lot of Chinese immigrants. So even my family in the Philippines, they eat at Chinese restaurants sometimes. If you don't eat Filipino food, you eat Chinese food. Or it's like they're very similar to each other in the sense of there's a lot of options when you go out. I mean, yeah, one of the oldest Chinatowns, I think, in the world, I could be wrong on that, is in Binondo, and they have a lot of Chinese restaurants in the Philippines.
I didn't know that connection. Is it because geographically kind of closer? I don't know. You still have to like take an airplane in.
Yeah, I actually don't know the history, but I just know that there are a lot of Chinese restaurants in the Philippines, and it's easy and Chinese food is, I think a lot of it is very delicious. It's like very easy to eat. I feel like it's like a good entry point too. I feel like in the US, right, back then too, there were a lot more Chinese places. Even in the early, maybe like, 50s, 60s, there were already Chinese places here, but probably very little Japanese places. Or or maybe only Japanese people would eat here, but I feel like there wasn't even that many Japanese people here maybe during that time compared to Chinese immigrants. Because I know there was a gold rush and a lot of Chinese immigrants came to the US.
It's crazy how they succeeded at spreading their cuisine across the world.
You know what it is? I think part of it though is because Chinese cooking Chinese restaurants in the US, they're not necessarily the most authentic. I think they changed it to fit the American palate, like maybe made it more like with the bread, maybe like kung pao chicken. You know, I'm pretty sure that's not
Panda Express.
yeah, or General Tso's chicken.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that's not like
that's not our thing.
legit,
Yeah.
you know, Chinese dish. Like in China, like, if you ask them, they're probably like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
right?
what is General Tso? Yeah.
So I think they succeeded because they also changed it to appeal to the palate of Americans or, you know, Western people who crave, you know, sweet and sour shrimp.
I don't really see like a Filipino restaurants, even in Seattle or Austin. There's like maybe like one.
There's actually a few in Austin. Yeah.
We haven't even tried it.
Yeah, we should try some. But there's also a Filipino market here, Filipino Mart. Someone commented that in
there is one?
Video. Yeah, there is one. I did find it a while ago.
Okay.
We haven't been there. It's not that big. Probably similar to Asahi Imports, that little Japanese
like one
market.
little, room. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty similar to that. It's not like huge, but yeah. So Chinese food was very easy, and most people liked it in my family. No one's gonna argue about eating Chinese food usually, you know, but you know, also because my mom doesn't eat spicy food, so it wasn't like we were going to try to eat Indian food or other food where it's like you might get spicy food, you don't know, or Mexican food. Sometimes they can be spicy, you never know. So my parents just didn't really prefer to eat other cuisines, and they're probably used to eating Chinese food.
It's crazy for me to realize that the grandma makes such a good food, but then you still go to Jollibee, which I don't consider to be like a Filipino food because of how like not so good compared to like the actual home cooked meal. And I never even today understand why Filipino people love Jollibee. Like it's almost like a cultural thing of like just loving it, and kind of like in McDonald's, right? Like Japanese people love Kentucky and McDonald's for the heck of it. Even though their home cooking is has a beautiful history, but maybe you want to eat something different.
I need to compare Jollibee to the Philippines. I haven't had Jollibee in the Philippines for a while, so I can't say which one is better, but I think
it was same when we ate it in the airport in the Philippines.
Oh, we did eat in the airport? Oh, we did. Or was that Chowking? Maybe I had Chowking.
Oh, maybe it was Chowking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like it is fast food. It's a different category, right? Like, I mean, Japanese cuisine, like there is fast food too. There is fast food now in Japan, right? Yeah. And you can't call that maybe real Japanese food in a way.
Right, they're not.
Even though like they've almost made it into their own subculture of, you know, Japanese fast food, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's I mean, it's definitely a big part of the culture. But I would like to see more Filipino actually like home cooked meal like restaurants, and I see more and more like popping up. I just hope that they don't get in like the crazy expensive range where it's like just like out of reach like for people
like those
normally.
elevated Filipino experience.
Well, I mean, I've also eaten at a few Filipino restaurants outside, but it's hard. I feel like if you're used to eating something, like you eat it at home and it's like good, and you eat it out, like there's just something different. Like lechon, I feel like I've eaten it at some Filipino restaurants and it doesn't taste that good.
It's funny because Filipino food have identity crisis in a way where everyone would call out on each other on how unauthentic the Filipino food are at different restaurants. And I know it's partly because there's nothing that's like pointing out to be like, this is why it's Filipino food. Like if you think about Korean food, it's the chili spice, like kimchi is the base flavor used in many things, or the marination of the meat. Or in Japan, it's the tsuyu sauce, like the fish-based sauce, like bonito and the fish, or shiitake mushroom. Those are the building flavors. So in almost every Japanese food, you would have that flavor of it. But I think in Philippines, I think some of them would say it's the vinegar.
I was gonna say, like, I think vinegar is like prevalent in a lot of dishes. I think also there's a lot of adaptations in Filipino cuisine from other cultures like Spanish and Chinese. So then a lot of things ended up just getting kind of mixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think vinegar is probably prevalent in a lot of, if it's not like in the food itself, it's like in the dipping sauce or like the seasoning. Yeah, vinegar is big. There's a lot of dishes that like even just almost include vinegar
I think that's why it's
exclusively.
hard to go to a Filipino restaurant and then get the nostalgic taste, because maybe it's the interpretation is so far, so much variation in each food in Philippines that like you may or may not get those nostalgic taste.
Yeah, I know there's like a region in the Philippines where they make adobo with like coconut milk, and I was like, I've
What?
never had adobo with coconut milk. I think it's a very specific region, and I'm
that might be
like, that
good,
sounds
actually.
kind of crazy. I don't know about
That might
that.
be good.
Maybe.
See, I'm more
Try
open
that.
to exploration, but like,
Well, I don't know. I feel like maybe coconut milk can be kind of filling already, so I'm not sure. That's just me.
actually, I get disappointed in US that whenever I would try to get katsu, which is traditional made in pork, in US it's made in chicken.
Yeah.
Often. I get disappointed because that's not like a tonkatsu or the katsu.
Oh, that's not actually real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like thin, usually like
Yeah.
a thin cut of meat.
Yeah, it's not the fatty part of the pork, which I remember growing up eating. So it's really hard to get the nostalgic taste in the US.
Well, what did you eat a lot for like lunch or dinner? Did you talk about what you eat for lunch?
So
like
lunch
on weekends?
is mostly school, and then on the weekend, I think we would eat out.
You actually ate out. Okay.
I think my dad would take me out to get McDonald's,
fast food.
Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Yeah.
ramen, soba noodle, things that maybe you don't cook at home.
Oh, nice.
as
That sounds
often.
good. Yeah.
But for lunch, I think it was more entree, like one big thing. Like the sukiyaki probably was my most favorite one,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you would put the pot and you heat it up, and then you put vegetables and beef, and I would crack open the egg and then make the egg mix, and then dip in the eggs as you eat, which I think American people freak out.
Well, eating raw eggs.
Yeah,
right?
eating raw
Yeah.
egg. It's considered a little bit more risky here because of how they're grown. But yeah, I just remember that more. I guess my grandma or my mom would cook something that's maybe bigger in a quantity, but still full of different ingredients. It's never just like one big fish as a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's usually like cooked with the multiple things in it. Oh no! I remember when I was like 3 or 4, my mom would cook, I think, a boiled carrot.
Just boiled carrots?
Boiled carrot. I remember that. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why, but
Just straight up boiled
yeah.
carrot.
And I remember her dumping the kimchi in water to get rid of the chili spice to make it the white kimchi. Then I would eat it because it's not as spicy. I remember those like bits and pieces of random memories of my
The
mom
carrots that she cooked.
cooking. Yeah, dinner would generally be, like a bigger meal, like a curry rice. It's like larger in quantity, still rich in nutrition. Yeah, that's what I remember. I think on the weekend dinner, my family weren't like, like a lower what do you call it? Not the middle class, but like
Lower income?
Yeah, I think we were more in the lower income household. So we didn't do any fancy eat out ever. Like my friends would go to a French restaurant.
Oh, so you never went to like upscale, like Italian?
No, never. I never got to experience those things. I think our kid probably will, because we
Wow, okay.
not like just to be luxurious for the sake of it, but we would probably want to go to a fancy Japanese restaurant once in a while, and we probably want to expand their like
Their palate.
But yeah, our parents would just be frugal and make sense, right? Mostly cook at home, trying to be fancy with home cooking, the handmade cooking, and less about like, wasting money outside paying for overly priced food. Although in Japan, I would say the price you pay are fair.
I was going to say, I think eating out in Japan is easier and not as expensive here. Just like casual eating out.
I remember my dad would take me to a sushi restaurant, the conveyor belt one.
Oh, the conveyor belt one. Okay.
Not the omakase.
So still like
Not the
not
omakase,
expensive.
the
Yeah.
cheaper version of sushi. And I remember as a kid, I'll be conscious of how much of the price of the.
So you try to
dishes
get
I'm
like the
getting.
cheaper ones.
Yeah, like I'll try to get cheaper one, and maybe one dish I'll get a like expensive like one that would be like $3 or $4 worth of. Now that I say it, it's like such a cheap per plate now, but it used to be like 100 yen, which is like what 60 cents. It would be more the like okay, I'll fill myself up with it first, and then I might get like one fancy thing like a uni or ikura. Those are my
So you
favorite.
sea urchin
Sea
and
urchin.
the fish egg.
Fish egg, the salmon egg,
The salmon fish egg, yeah.
the red ones. I remember that. That would be our like a fancy meal.
Be like a treat.
Yeah, treat.
One gunkan
Yeah.
salmon
Yeah.
egg and uni.
Yeah.
Gunkan.
Or my dad would take me to ramen place at night. Even though I didn't care for ramen, like he would just take me to those places. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about your family? So for lunch you would go to dim sum, but for dinner,
Oh,
if you
we
eat
just
out,
ate. I think, yeah, I said that I pretty much ate the same thing usually.
even eating out for dinner.
Oh, we didn't eat out for dinner.
I guess you don't
thinking
really
about
eat
it.
out, for
Yeah.
dinner.
Now that I think about it, we do eat at like other different types of like more casual dining places. Like we used to eat, like if someone had a birthday and we didn't feel like cooking at home, even though for a lot of birthdays we did cook at home. Like then we would at like Cheesecake Factory or like Olive Garden. So we did do a lot of that too.
I remember
yeah.
joining the Cheesecake Factory,
Yeah.
Olive Garden.
I mean, I like Cheesecake Factory, so I don't knock it.
Cheesecake Factory is actually decent. I think it's still like expensive even at that time.
Yeah.
And they give you so much that
The bread though is so
the
good.
bread.
Yeah, the pumpernickel kind of bread.
Pumpernickel?
I don't even know if it's pumpernickel, but it's really good. You
Yeah.
can buy it at the store. It's so good. I think
Yeah.
like we went through a stage where we just bought like a ton of it.
You can ask
So
for a
good.
refill too.
Yeah, that's like the best bread. Oh,
Maybe-
not that good, the greatest thing for you, but it's so good.
We should go back to the cheesecake just to eat the
Just
bread.
eat the bread. We can just buy the bread if we
Yeah.
want to eat it.
I remember, I
yeah.
remember even dating. When we dated, we went to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, we went a lot. Even with friends, we go to Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like where you go, you know.
I wonder if that was a Seattle
Because there's
thing
something
or-
for everyone. No, I don't think it's a Seattle thing. I watch like YouTubers in California. They
Oh,
actually
okay.
like going to Cheesecake Factory too.
Yeah, there's always
So,
something.
yeah.
Whether it's a fish based or the
Yeah.
chicken, beef, pork.
I'm trying to remember when I first had like Japanese food or something similar to Japanese. Like I feel like the Japanese food I would eat as a kid, like sometimes my parents would want to go to a Japanese place, but they would never want to just eat sushi. My parents don't really. I mean, my dad eats sushi, but my mom doesn't. She doesn't like to eat
Because
raw
fresh
raw
fish is
Yeah,
kind of weird.
She's kind
in
of
the
well.
Philippines, right?
It's more like she worries about like possible like food poisoning.
Right.
So she worries about that. So we didn't. So if we went to a Japanese place, it would be more like a bento place where they would make cooked items too.
Cooked fish.
So like
or
I would
the
eat like California.
teriyaki.
Yeah, I would eat like teriyaki or California rolls or like, with rice or the chicken katsu.
It's
that
like a
I
general
like.
tso of the
Yeah.
Japanese food, right?
I mean, probably owned too by Chinese or
Yeah,
Korean owners.
very much.
The teriyaki places. Though I did eat a lot of teriyaki places. Now thinking about it, which also like the price was good for the amount of food you got. Like you could eat like 2 days sometimes for the food.
Yeah,
or over
yeah.
2 days you could eat it. So that was good.
That's that thing.
Yeah.
I think I remember that the portion that you eat in Japan were like much smaller.
Yeah.
But here, like, you know that you're gonna take some home or half of it home.
Yeah. In Japan, you don't take food
No,
out.
you don't take
I
home,
feel like
yeah.
I've never seen anyone take
No.
food out. Yeah.
Because you can finish it eating it.
Yeah.
When did you start to eat some of the Japanese, like I'd say, like a delicacy food, like a natto, and some of the weird things that American people would usually not encounter, even at a restaurant. Like nobody serves like a natto at a restaurant. Like when do you think you start to eat those?
Probably when we got together or after we were together for a while. It wasn't like right away. It's not like, oh yeah, first going out, here you go, eat some natto.
Natto,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it was like you just naturally eat it. So then it's like I just try it and then like I'll eat it. I mean, there are probably still some things that I don't eat that you eat, but I don't know. What are food habits you've picked up since we've been together? Do you feel like?
I don't know if I picked up because the food was again very familiar and similar to what I had in Japan. So I had no problem eating fish head that your grandma made, or going through the shrimp head. It's another thing that American people wouldn't do, but I would just like put that in mouth and then get all the flavor out of it.
Yeah, and then remove it. Yeah.
So I'll say for me, there was no like, oh my God, this is a new thing, maybe except for like a balut, which is.
Oh, yes. It's a duck fetus.
Duck fetus. That was like, okay, like maybe I don't eat that again. But,
but yeah, family members really like it. Like my sister likes it. There are people, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan, but yeah, it is a duck fetus embryo. It's actually a duck in there, and it's weird in my opinion because you can eat like the beak and other parts of the body I don't want to think about. But
it's funny to me how you picked up more of a Japanese home cooking food.
Oh, really?
Than any Filipino home cooking food, even though you grew up eating it more.
I mean, I think for one thing, I didn't really learn how to cook a lot of Filipino food. My grandma would just make things. I remember she was trying to teach me how to cook once. And then like I would like turn around while I was talking to her or talking to someone else, and then she would put something in the pot, and I was like, "What did you just put in the pot?" Like she wouldn't explain to me what she was doing. So then I was like, "I don't know what she's making," but I could have made more of an effort too. But I feel like as a kid, like you just like I don't want to learn this other thing. And also, I think I was like enjoying baking more when I was a kid. Like I remember when you could find recipes online for baked goods like cupcakes,
much easier,
and scones. Like I would try those recipes out, and I was more interested in baking because my parents didn't really bake either. My mom used to make desserts. I remember when I was younger, but then she got busier and didn't make as many. She would make like Jello based desserts.
And I think she would get it from like a can or
she would like mix
bottle,
different like jellies and fruits together. But I like to eat like pastry desserts, so that's why I wanted to learn how to bake. So I was more interested in that when I was younger than learning how to make Filipino food. So
it's also more approachable when it's just the flour, salt, sugar, and egg,
there's no like eyeballs looking back on you. Just but I know I should have learned how to make. That's actually one of my regrets, like not learning how to cook Filipino food when my grandma was younger and lucid and could actually teach me.
Maybe also because she would cook or handle fish head and stuff that you probably wouldn't even want to.
Yeah, I probably didn't want to do that, right?
So maybe that's why
I didn't learn how to cook it. Yeah, I didn't learn how to cook the fish without having to do that. I probably didn't want to do all that.
Yeah,
I would like, what's an easier way for me to do this, but still get like a similar dish? That's probably what I would be thinking about. So, yeah, and I feel like with Japanese cooking, like I think in some ways like it's really simple and filling. And then I think you can eat it every day in some ways. Not that you can't eat Filipino cooking every day, but sometimes I don't feel like eating chicken adobo like 3 days afterwards or 4 days afterwards. I want to like switch it up and maybe like eat it maybe 2 days afterwards. So I don't know. I think my diet is more varied though in general. Like I don't think I even want to eat Japanese food like 3 days in a row. Like I'd want to eat something Japanese and something Korean and then Italian and then
I think that's
Filipino,
really good that we get the benefit of multicultural, like blending in our own cultural background recipes, but also creating something new.
Yeah, I think we cook a lot of. We don't cook by the book. I feel like a lot of times, like I think we're like, let's put this vegetable in here. Like let's like make this meat in this dish when you're not really supposed to use that meat maybe for that dish. But if it tastes good, I'm like, well, I think it's good, and I think it helps you be flexible too, because I feel like very little people have all the ingredients they want to use for like all the recipes, right? So you have to learn how to use and substitute, and
especially when grocery
work with different
store doesn't offer the same thing that I can get in Japan, right? That economically doesn't make sense. So let's say get shiso leaves, because that's kind of expensive in here. So like we would use like a sesame leaf from Korea to substitute, too. So. Yeah.
I mean, I think some things have changed for me. I definitely eat more spicy food now. I barely ever ate spicy food when I was a kid because we eat kimchi and other food with probably like peppers or spice in it. And
In Filipino food, it's
Yeah.
more about sourness and not so much spiciness. right?
well, it's just more like my mom doesn't eat spicy food. So my grandma would put peppers in dishes, but my mom doesn't like to eat it. My dad likes spicy food, so that's the thing. But yeah, I definitely eat a lot more spicy food these days than I ever did growing up. I also thought it was going to give me heartburn eating a lot of spicy food, so probably that's why I didn't eat a lot of spicy food as a kid either.
What's one home cooking from Filipino culture that you want people to try to recreate?
That I don't see a lot of people do of, or
Or it could be something people do, but for American people who are like have never cooked like Asian food or
like
or
that
are
would
interested
be
in
that would be
cooking.
easy for them to
yeah,
try.
easy enough. That
Yeah. I mean, I feel like chicken adobo is super easy.
chicken adobo.
And it's also like a flavor that isn't too crazy. Like, I don't know if we would right off the bat want them to try to cook things like dinuguan, which is like pork blood stew. Like,
Yeah,
that's like
those
too
are
much,
crazy,
right?
yeah.
So, like, I think you need to like work up to those, or maybe it's like an acquired taste, right? But like chicken adobo is like really easy to make. And then there are a lot of other dishes that I'll probably talk about in other future episodes that I feel like are very underrated in Filipino cuisine, but it's because I eat those dishes like at home and not at restaurants a lot of the times. Even though you can get them at restaurants, I just feel like they're
Yeah,
never
yeah.
as good. So
I think for
That's my
me,
thinking.
the Japanese food that I want everyone to try cooking is karaage, because all you need is just a chicken thigh. If you want the less fatty part, you can use chicken breast, but chicken thigh is really good. And you could marinate in the soy sauce to add the flavor ahead of time, and then you just mix it with the flour, and then you just fry it, just like you would cook the fried chicken, like you would do in the US, but it's like a Japanese version of the recipe. And for the Korean, I think you can pretty much put kimchi almost in everything as a substitute. Like even in the burger, you can put the kimchi instead of the pickles.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead
Pickle
of-
substitute. Yeah.
Or instead of sauerkraut, you can just put the kimchi to replace. Like you can easily add the kick of the spice, and it's the vegetable, so it's good, and it has a lot of the probiotics that naturally comes with it. So maybe Korean food is not so much a cooking, but like use of the kimchi everywhere that
Yeah.
you can throw in.
Yeah.
That would be good. But let us know what your favorite home cooking is that maybe we should try to cook it at our home, learning from your culture. And yeah, please share those recipe links with us. And also, we do this every week. So next week, we'll have another episode coming in. And to be in the update, you can subscribe and you can also hit the bell so that you get notified whenever we release the updates. And we also release YouTube Shorts every single day. And we also have TikTok that you can subscribe. And there we also release our shorts for TikTok videos every single day as well. But yeah, until we see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.